This is a free sample of the book Breaking Your OnlyFans Addiction by Cairo Copeland. The first half of this book is posted right here on YouTube, free for everyone to listen to. If you like this content and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/OnlyFans. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/OnlyFans.
Chapter 3. How They Hook You. The power of this poison cannot be understated with an addict count of 75 million. The libertarian-minded might say that welfare is a similar kind of drug because it can be easily abused and leads to greater long-term damage to its abusers because they become less willing to work. Food stamps, a form of welfare, was once greatly abused in the United States, up to 45 million users. Even welfare abuse for coverage of an item as essential as food was not as addictive as OnlyFans. How did this come to pass? Is it like Huxley wrote, a product of consumption culture? Partially. This consumerist mindset has conditioned many to immediately associate solving a problem or filling a need with buying a product or service. When the problem or need is female intimacy, many would love to just make the problem go away by throwing money at it. Prostitution is not quite the solution many of these consumers would prefer to use. For one, it's illegal in most areas, and two, there's a lot of truth to the joke. A man doesn't pay a prostitute for sex. He pays her, so she'll leave afterward. Those consumers were looking for sexual satisfaction without the intimacy, investment, work, and responsibility that comes along with it. But OnlyFans provides a luring hook that is far more powerful than mere sexual thirst. The same sexual thirst can lead guys to invest in themselves, work hard to become wealthy, push hard at the gym to become ripped, or gleefully encounter social situations to become better at socializing. All these things can lead to a greater sex life. OnlyFans' trap weaponizes its temptation with a more primitive need, dopamine. How do they ensnare so many guys? 3 ways, the first of which is, number 1, providing the dopamine dependency of social media sites and casinos. Dopamine has been crucial to human survival and perpetuation. In the caveman days, you got a rush of it when you found a tree with fruit hanging from it because food was so scarce. You got it when you killed a saber-toothed tiger because predators were so plentiful and life was so fragile. You got it when you won a fight with others over a cave woman to fuck because all throughout human history, only the top 20% of males had all the sex. Without these dopamine rushes, there would be no motivation to venture out of the cave or to compete against others. The human race would not have survived nor perpetuated. It helped us survive in the caveman days. But since the biological evolution of human beings does not keep pace with the speed of technological development, you are at risk of falling for the grifts that seek to capitalize on this. An enabling force behind the addiction is anticipation. When you sense something influencing you to have anticipation, alarm bells need to be ringing. OnlyFans takes extra advantage of this with their gated silos. When you first stumble onto a creator's page, you can see the number of posts, but not the details of them. You have no idea what those posts contain until you pay to see them. Still, after you've paid the subscription membership, some of them may still be blurred, requiring you to pay more. You may be able to see if it's a photo or a video, but your mind will wander and further crave knowing exactly what is behind the paywall. This craving will not be satisfied until you find out. This is just like the text message you haven't read yet. You get excitement when your phone buzzes, and the good feelings persist up until you finish reading and responding to it. Before that, it was a mystery box, a present under the Christmas tree, something that could be all sorts of good things. Other kinds of porn sites immediately reveal their content to you. On Pornhub, you can not only see the thumbnail for the video, but you can even preview the video by hovering over the thumbnail and it will show you a preview of what will play. If it did not do this, you'd have no choice but to click on it. And if it charged you to see, you'd have no choice but to pay. With the OnlyFans interface, the mystery behind the paywall tricks your brain into focusing on it more. The greater focus on it deepens your investment in it, thereby enhancing the value of it to you. The more you invest mentally into something, the more value you will assign to it, as evidenced by stock investors who believe their stocks are worth more than they really are just because they own them. Being unable to know what the post contains, what goes on in the video, until you pay, works just like the slot machines in casinos. Have you ever noticed that the slot machine doesn't stop all 3 reels at once? It stops them one at a time. Why? Because in building anticipation for each reveal of the stopped reel, the dopamine delivery is increased. The point of them is to get you to focus on what it could be. Another example of this is the coin games at Chuck E. Cheese, where you have a stack of coins about to fall off the edge. It looks like the next coin that goes in could be the one that tips them over and wins the whole game. It tricks you into thinking it will only take just one more. Mystery box appeal was best illustrated in an episode of Family Guy when Peter Griffin was given a choice of prize between a boat and a mystery box. He exclaimed, "A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could be a boat." We assign more value to the unknown because we spend more time thinking about what it could be, thereby investing deeper into it, which perpetuates the additional value assignment. Some grifters know this very well, such as Ellie Jean Coffey, the sexy surfer who, after seeing how easy it was to get the attention of thirsty simps, decided to capitalize on it. She opened up a pay site, ellie-unlocked.com, that was structured just like OnlyFans with posts hidden behind paywalls and private messages requiring payment to see as well. But the contents of such posts and messages were merely the exact same things you would see on her Instagram profile. Perhaps the most famous one was Bella Thorne, who raised $1 million in one day from simps that desperately wanted to see her nude. But when they bought her subscription, they were severely disappointed seeing only pictures and video of her fully clothed. Number 2. Falsely feeding the hunger for recognition, intimacy, and interaction. Suppose you were to follow a porn star on Instagram, or subscribe to her channel on Pornhub. Theoretically, it should offer you all the same content you'd have access to on her OnlyFans. But there's something missing from these outlets. Accessibility. On these platforms, your fantasy woman is completely inaccessible, meaning she has no idea you even exist. You're just a number in her subscriber account. The photos and videos uploaded may be explicit, but what's missing from the experience is you. These platforms can have everything that her OnlyFans profile has, but it's still everything but you. She's aloof and unaware of your presence viewing them. In the majority of porn consumption prior to OnlyFans, it was mainly a voyeuristic experience. But now, in OnlyFans world, you and the rest of the audience are acknowledged. It may even feel like you're the only one being acknowledged by her. Look at how often the words you and your appear in her posts. When you see those words, you don't think of other people and assume she's talking right to you, even if you consciously know she's not. It's even more powerful when the conversation occurs in your direct messages. They'll even proactively message you to ask for your reactions, opinions, etc. This creates an artificial intimacy. Many guys are at risk of falling for this trap because very rarely or not at all do women in the real world ever message them first. The male managers for OnlyFans models. And yes, it's true. In those direct messages, you are actually talking to a man. You think a trashy model would have the intellect to figure out this grift? No. The male managers understand that this artificial intimacy increases emotional investment. That emotional investment will lead you to drop more dollars. A tactic they use, while pretending to be the model in the messages, is where she'll proactively message you to ask what you're up to because she's bored and just wants to talk to someone. Never before in the guy's life has this happened. A woman initiating a conversation with him, and god damn it feels good the first time it happens, especially when he responds back, and a conversation gets going. Much like the hits of dopamine rushes a guy feels when he's getting a good texting conversation going with a woman he matched with on a dating app, he's sucked right in. This arrangement on OnlyFans doesn't feel like a server-customer interaction series. It feels more like a real-life, long-distance relationship where the evidence of said relationship is all in the text messaging, and like the damage a long-distance relationship can do to a guy. By purporting the belief that it's anything more than an imaginary friend, more time is spent idealizing what the relationship could be one day rather than appreciating it for what it is now, because there's nothing to appreciate now. Number 3, the ability to purchase guaranteed acceptance. Every guy that's ever matched with a girl on a dating app has experienced this. You send her the initial message. She responds. You send another message that's somewhat generic and boring. She reads it, but never responds again. She effectively ghosts and disappears on you. However, on OnlyFans, you can send that exact same kind of canned, uninteresting message, and your OnlyFans ethot will respond. Well, her male message manager will respond, but most users don't know that they're talking to other men when they're messaging their favorite ethots. This is doing more than just damaging your social intelligence with women. It's damaging your social development as a person entirely. You don't need to make yourself interesting to her to stand out. That has been the cry of every black pill incel, and it has now been heard. They no longer need to be the dancing monkey or try hard in any way to win the woman. The black pill incels lament the fact that in order to keep a woman's attention, they must do all the work and constantly think of ways to keep things interesting. They put up all the effort while she puts up none. Interestingly, if that's cause for aversion to pursue women, put in effort, why would they do anything in life then? Because everything demands effort. I mean, even shitting demands effort. We may make fun of the black pill doomers, but OnlyFans caters specifically to them. Their blue pill conditioning made them believe that women ought to and will love them for who they are. Their red pill awakening taught them that women will not, but they still yearn for their blue pill beliefs to be real. OnlyFans, and the male managers behind it, understand and exploit that. Rarely, in the real world, do you find women that care for male hobbies like sports or video games, but on OnlyFans and Twitch, these women are everywhere. This is how you know a male manager is running it, because very rarely do male and female interests intersect. So for a place to be so heavily concentrated with females that have conventionally assigned male interests, an alarm should go off telling you something is up. But the blue pill has made the OnlyFans consumer crave this. A woman he can share his interests, thoughts, hobbies, and feelings with. The long-lasting damage this will do is creating unrealistic expectations as well as sabotage real-world relatability. You may also notice that the creators, or again, their male managers, create backstories of how they were outcasts or once the unpopular nerdy girl that got picked on in high school. This is a trope that many guys legitimately lived through. How is it possible for every woman selling her body and attention on OnlyFans to legitimately have this backstory? It's not. The real reason they portray that image is because the male managers running the account know that males often struggle to relate to a woman they're attracted to. That is because there are vast differences in life experience for the average guy and the attractive woman. As a male, you live in a world that has immediate, if not instant, consequences for being inadequate, being a loser, a fuck-up, or a failure. If you live with your parents as an adult, you'll be made fun of. If you act socially out of tune, you not only don't get any girls, but you also don't get any friends. If you don't have your shit together and make yourself valuable in some way, you don't get invited to the parties, you don't get hired by employers, you don't get handouts when you panhandle without being told you're a bum. The world will be quick to fire you, dump you, and ostracize you for the first fuck-up you make. But when you're a beautiful woman, people will laugh hard at every unfunny joke you tell. White knights will rush to your rescue when you encounter some kind of misfortune, even if you brought it upon yourself. All a pretty lady needs to do to get validation is post a picture on social media. Or, not even a picture. Just post a status update saying she's feeling down, and an army of her simp followers will dish out attempts to uplift her. Thus, males have a difficult time relating to attractive women, but the male managers of OnlyFans ethos have taken care of this problem by giving her a backstory, similar to the typical OnlyFans addict. In real life, there is discomfort among males while out on dates with attractive women if they cannot easily bridge the gaps of little to no mutual interests or similarities in backstories. You might have lived through one of these painfully awkward conversations where you keep trying to get a conversation going on a date, but you just can't seem to find a damn thing you and her connect on or agree about. OnlyFans further damages your ability to bridge these gaps. Unlike real women in the real world, your OnlyFans girlfriend seems to do her part in carrying the conversation and maintaining her end of upholding interest back in you. She doesn't reject your less than stellar attempts to keep the conversation going, or failures to be interesting. It all comes at a price, but there's an even deeper cost than money. The cost is your potential at ever having any social intelligence. It's so bad that OnlyFans thoughts will even accept and positively respond to dick pics. No woman in the world worth a shit ever wants to see a picture that focuses exclusively on a guy's dick, but on OnlyFans they encourage it. Some thoughts even perform a service where they will rate your dick on a scale of 1 to 10 for a fee. Son, please understand, she's only doing this to make money and probably barely looks at your ding-a-ling. This is an extremely heinous evil, but also a very intelligent evil. It allows the consumer to share their biggest insecurity, which for most guys is they're thinking, is my dick normal and nice to look at? With their merchant, who is a woman they are extremely attracted to, but also have that merchant respond well to hearing that insecurity and with compassion. This is the hope of every blue pill male, to have a beautiful woman love him no matter what. He can share his greatest vulnerabilities and she will still love him. They desperately want their deepest insecurity to not impact their relationship with said woman as well. For many guys, this is the closest thing they will ever come to experience that resembles unconditional love. Try doing this in the real world with a real woman. You will soon be sorry. There's a good reason why the Red Pill Consortium encourages males never to be vulnerable with their wives and girlfriends. Also, we encourage you to never send a dick pic. Don't be a fucking idiot. Herein lies the deepest dangers of OnlyFans. Regular porn, both free and paid, offers arousal and orgasm. Those are merely ancillary effects of a relationship with a woman, meaning there's more to being in a relationship with a woman than the physical pleasure that comes from her body. OnlyFans, however, offers that physical pleasure plus a 100% guaranteed intimate connection without the possibility of frustration or rejection. It has the potential to provide the other aspects of a relationship males want besides the sex. Porn is sexual communism. In communism, the confiscation and redistribution of results kill the motive to produce results, which is why it has failed everywhere it's been tried. Porn gives the false simulation that the reproductive problem has been solved, thus motivation to achieve anything is missing. It's no accident that since porn became more easily accessible over the internet, that things have become less meritorious. Notice how everything coming out of Hollywood the last 20 years is a repeat. Notice how the American economy is losing to China, or how even today's architecture looks ugly and inferior to architecture of our past. This is because many males feel no motivation to accomplish anything substantial when their original motivating force for doing so, which was impressing and winning the love of women, is substitutionally fulfilled by porn. OnlyFans heightens the damage this can do to a male and society at large, because while porn only temporarily fulfills sexual thirst, OnlyFans can temporarily and artificially fulfill emotional thirst. Establishing intimate relationships with women and getting them to love you is extremely difficult. Further, these relationships require heavy maintenance, and they are even more difficult to maintain than they are to acquire. Now for a price, you get to bypass all of that. For a price, you get a sex-obsessed girlfriend in an imaginary long-distance relationship that loves you no matter what, so long as you bring her money. You don't have to listen to her problems, deal with her drama, raise her illegitimate kids, or endure her nagging. None of the things you'd experience with real life. Plus, if she ever gets fat, loses her beauty, or stops being sexual with you, it's easy to break up with her. You just cancel your subscription instead of having a difficult conversation. The tragedy of this is that the more you pay for an artifice of this, the less likely you will experience it in the real world. Strangely, not all OnlyFans consumers are incels. Some are even in relationships. For these guys, what they are seeking is an escape. But an escape from what? Their relationship? Last I checked, the best escape from that was to break up. But that by itself is very difficult to do. It takes emotional resolve and strength. And males truly hate doing it because males are the true romantics, contrary to popular belief. It's commonly thought that women are the more romantic of the two sexes. Why? Because they consume more romance novels and romantic comedies? Who the hell do you think creates those? Everyone could easily name love songs that were written by males, but it would take some serious thinking and effort to name half that many written by females. The same with poems. The work of art that is synonymous with the romantic ideal, Romeo and Juliet, was written by a male. Most acts of romance, from thoughtful dates to wedding surprises, are planned out by the male in the relationship. Because males are the true romantics, breaking up does not come easily for them. It is painful to tell a woman, even a complete cunt, you don't wish to see her anymore. By going to OnlyFans for an escape from your relationship, you weaken your resolves as well as enhance your life misery by allowing the cause of it to remain in it. Using OnlyFans to fulfill sexual dissatisfactions you have in your current real-life relationship only keeps your relationship unsatisfying. That is perhaps the great power of this vice. It keeps guys who
listening to
know
this
they
free
are not
sample
happy
of
by
the book
temporarily
Breaking Your
to
OnlyFans
thinking they
Addiction
are happy.
by Cairo
Said
Copeland.
male is
Enjoyed
weak
it?
tremendously.
Want to hear or
As
read
a
the
result
rest?
of his weakened mind, he
Listen
was
to it
suffering.
free of
So
ads.
too will the world
Visit
at large.
reinvent
That is the next thing to be discussed. Showing what effects this hidden habit has.
The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/OnlyFans.